Hey guys, and welcome to this video on Renowned Explorers. Now, a lot of people may already know what this game is. It's I think the best explanation I've heard is it's kind of like a choose your own adventure game, and there is a lot more to it than that. Like, there's a lot of strategy, and it's an adventure RPG style game with a tactical turn-based combat. There's a lot to it, but let's not get in over my head. I will first of all say the reason I'm doing a video on this game is because the More to Explore expansion got released, which added a shitload of content to the game, excuse my French, but it is now more content rich than ever, and it already had a load of content in it. You may recognise this game from the fact it was in Total Biscuit's top 10 video games of 2015, I believe, but there's a lot on screen, and I know if you're looking at this you're going to be overwhelmed right now, so I will ignore most of it for now, and I'll explain what most of these things do over time. But this is the world map. So the premise of the game is you have your team of explorers, which you can see in the bottom left here, and you can train them, you can give them new skills, you can level them up, and you can give them different perks, you choose which ones you want to get, you can kit them out with equipment, you can see all their stats, and I'll explain what stats are for later, and they also have various perks which will get them through challenges. So, with this team of explorers, you want to go across the world and go on various expeditions, and when you do these expeditions you will get various treasures which will upgrade your explorer team, and they will also give you renown. Now, renown is how you win the game. You want to have the most renown out of all the explorers currently playing. So to get renown, as I said, you need to go on an expedition. In the world map you can also you can do jobs to get money. There's a research system, so this is this will give you various perks across all your expeditions, and you use research points to upgrade those. And then there's what's it called again? It's status, which you can use to get people like followers, so little fans who will come around and help you. But again, I won't go into too much detail with any of those. I just wanted to cover that. But the expeditions, this is the important part of the game, and this is one of the parts where More to Explore added various expeditions, so there's even more than ever. So I've explored the Saxon Grave Islands, I've gone to the Caribbean island because I'm a huge fan of Captain Roach and I have now got his huge treasure hoard. I've got the Andean Adventure, I've got the Mali Mystery, the Memphis Desert, and the Highlands, and the Hungarian Fort. Now, I think the Hungarian Fort appeals to me. It's only 2-star difficulty, so I think I'm up for it. So, Lady Viduva, the treasurer of the Renowned Explorers, notified you of the Forgotten Fort. It used to be a secret alchemy lab. In the Middle Ages, there must be something amazing to discover around these forgotten places. Being devious might help. Right, I'll explain what that means in a moment, but for now, I will launch the expedition. I know I'm saying that to a lot of things, I'll explain them in a moment, but as I said, there's a lot to explain, and just doing that all straight away would be overwhelming. So, your characters will have dialogue with each other, and they will a lot of the time. It's really well written, I will say, but it makes the characters feel like actual characters, not just mindless NPCs. So, this is where you start on the expedition map, and this is your objective. Now, as for how you get there, it is very similar to Faster Than Light, and I say that because in Faster Than Light, you have fuel. In this, you have supplies. Every time you go to a new node, you expend supplies, like going to a new node uses fuel in Faster Than Light. And every time you go to a new node, different things will happen depending on which node you go to. And you want to cross all the nodes until you get to your objective and get your treasure. You can explore a bit if you want to find other things before going to your treasure, because once you get there, that's your expedition over. So, this is the most simple place. That will give me status, but there's an encounter there. I don't want to go into an encounter yet. Encounters are what is similar to the combat part of the game, so I will explain that when I get to it. That place looks pretty good, but I can't, to be honest, I probably just want to go here. This is a safe area by the looks of it with no complications. There's a gargoyle statue, and I can take a closer look. There's a cryptic lock. There are 5 slots for Greek letters. Yvonne is curious to find out what's locked behind it. The codes seem to be complex. Okay, so if I had other explorers in my team, they could help me with this, but I'm guessing I can take a guess, but yeah, this really isn't gonna, I'm not gonna be able to do anything. I might just copy the picture, to be honest. So A, second letter is an R, and it's going to be in M. I don't have a choice of an M, so triangle instead. Triangle, fourth letter is going to be this little circle. I don't have a choice of that. So the other circle, I don't have a choice of that. Oh no, my plan's falling apart. Unless that could pass as a B. Right, let's go for a B. I'm not going to get this right, I guarantee you. But I can't do the fork, I can't do the N, so the P. There's no P either. Alright, let's just go for that. Wait, if you filled in the correct code, something should happen in a place far from here. That's a big if, though. Alright, that's definitely not going to be happening. But again, if I had the right explorers, it would have. Research to be found and status. And there's a challenge. Alright, I will explain the challenges. If I go to this node, something will happen which will challenge me. It's in my name. So, depending on the explorers you have and the perks they have, you change your odds on these. Like, Molly has the archaeologist perk, and she has high speech skill, and I'm doing a really bad job at explaining this, but because of all those various things that are to do with her character, she has a 29% chance, whereas Bia only has a 5% because she hasn't got any of those things. So I can go for the 29% chance, and I'll get 2 study, 2 campaign, collect and study if I succeed, but I'll probably fail at 71%. So the odds are shown in a little spinny wheel, which is great. Oh, I did actually succeed. Alright, luck is on my side today. So because of that, I got all those tokens. Now what those tokens do, like the study, campaign, collect and study, they will give you little tokens up there. And every time you complete an expedition, all of these will be cashed in, so to speak. So those green ones will give me status, which you use to recruit followers. Collect ones will give me gold, which you use to buy new equipment. And study ones will give me research, which I can use to get those perks I mentioned. So yeah, that is now all the resources mentioned, other than insight. Insight can just be used in the city to get either gold, research, or status. I always forget the status one. So I will keep exploring that. Oh, I could find supplies there, which will help me explore more. And there's a cultural challenge. Right, I'm going to go here. I do like how they tell you what's going to be where, as opposed to it just being blind luck and you have to click on a node without knowing whether or not you're going to get something there. So, should I... There's 80% chance, but if I fail, I will lose resolve. Resolve is like your life points, and I have 4 of those, so every time a member's defeated in combat, I will lose a resolve. And if that reaches 0, then they're defeated forever, my campaign is over. So do I want to convince her I'm not part of this Bathory? I imagine if anyone's like a big fan of history, then this game is going to be a goldmine for them, because it's got a lot to do with European culture and stuff. So let's just go for the 80% chance. I'll spin the wheel again, there's a lot more chances to succeed, and of course, with 80% I am going to succeed. So she tells me about the stories of this cult. Oh no, it's actually a person, a medieval countess who tortured and murdered hundreds of young women to bathe in their blood and retain her youth. That is lovely. So I imagine she's an actual woman, and again, like, if you're a history... I don't want to say a history nerd, because that's kind of derogatory, but a history fan, then you'll be aware of who she is. So I got some campaign tokens from that, which will give me some status, and she offers one more thing before I go. I can rest for night or take some supplies. So that will either give me resolve, which are like the lives, or supplies, which I use to explore, my fuel, so to speak. I would rather have a resolve, that's always handy to have. I can get more supplies there, or I can get status there. I'm just going to bear towards my objective. So this I find a small book about a countess that murders young women in a quest for eternal youth. Creepy. So I'm finding out more about this woman. I imagine if I explored fully this area, then I could actually find that woman, which is pretty worrying. In fact, there's a high chance she might be in that fort, isn't there? Okay, so alright, this actually looks good. There's status, there's a chance for crew upgrade, there's gold, and there's a technique challenge. I'm gonna go here, because there's a lot of opportunities here. This place has obviously been raided by vicious bandits. Let's take a look inside. There's a desk with a map, a bed, and a safe that they didn't manage to open. So I can't open this. Oh no, wait, Molly has a high chance of opening the safe because of her skills. Let's go for that. Let's spin the wheel and hopefully get lucky again. Thank you. And in the safe is... Ooh, okay, this, I can either get... I don't actually know what a secret is, but I do know what a treasure is, and I would happily have some treasure. So the treasure hunt, basically every treasure hunt token you have, you will get a lot of gold and a lot of status and some renown as well. Treasures are like really, they're the jackpot as far as resources go. Let's have a look at the desk with the map. Boss of bandits, Boris Claw is not human, he has pointy ears and is way too hairy. Sounds like a tough opponent or a wimp. What exactly does that do? Okay, it gives armor to certain characters and that one will give speech defense to Yvonne. I'd rather have the armor. So that's basically like how do I want, or how does my leader want to react to this new find, and then that will affect how my other two characters react to it, and it will change their stats. So I'll go for that. And then I can take the map to find out where Boris is, which will give me other areas to explore. I should also mention with the characters I have, I picked those, and there are a lot of characters to pick from, and all of them start with different perks and have different dialogue and different skills, which is great. Again, as far as content in this game goes, there is a lot of it. So let's search for bed. It's nothing but a few supplies, I can't complain at supplies, so let's leave the hut. And let's carry on exploring. There's a nature challenge over here, and that way I can also access the fort. So a scout could get some supplies. I do have a scout. Molly is a scout, so I will send Molly to do it, which will actually give me a lot. And if I fail this one, then I don't lose any insight or anything, which is great. Not insight, rather the exclamation marks, or the pitfall seeds, I'm going to call them. Resolve. Scouts the area and get some supplies. I'm actually getting a lot from this expedition. This expedition is going really well. But now that I've gone to enough nodes, I have explored enough to set up camp. And this is one of the new features of the expansion. So if I start a campfire, then I can tell a story. And you have like a deck of cards, and it will roll every time you start a campfire, and you can add new cards to your deck. But you can choose which story to tell. Each card is a story. So this one will give me 5 encounters, 8 collect, or 2 resolve. I do kind of like the idea of getting gold, so I'm going to pick the story. In fact, no, let's go for the encounter one, because I do want to show an encounter. So I'll tell an encounter story. Heated debate takes place. Who was the fanciest philosopher in history? BMX skates for the orderly virtue ethics of Aristotle, but Yvonne has no ear for his boring ideas. No, Yvonne thinks highly of Voltaire. Not that she knows that what Voltaire stood for, but Yvonne has heard he was quite a charmer. Now that is fancy. And then that'll give me some encounters. The encounter tokens, they give you golden status. They're kind of like a little small version of the treasure hunt ones. And then I will go on. But I do really want to go to an encounter. In fact, no, there'll be an encounter here, so I can talk about how the combat works in the castle. Now, are we going to get the countess here? There's secret fort, and again, this ends the expedition, so I'm happy to do that. Let's go ahead and explore the fort. Right away, you're in for a nasty surprise. Cultists, their leader seems to be a master alchemist. So that could be the woman? This is a 3-star encounter, so it is going to be quite difficult. But this will enter the combat screen. Now, the combat is hex-based, and you have your characters on their hexes. I should mention this. So you can resolve encounters in 3 ways. You can resolve them by being friendly, by being devious, or by being aggressive. And every encounter will have different benefits for doing each one of those. So this one, if I complete it deviously, I'll get a lot of campaign tokens. If I resolve it aggressively, I'll get a lot of encounter tokens. So I probably want to go for devious because it gives me more tokens. So, how do I get to each one of those outcomes? So, you see the enemies here. There are 4 enemies that I can see. There might be more on the borders. Yeah, there's 2 over there. And then my 3 characters are here. Each character has a set of abilities, and they basically have an aggressive ability which will do damage. They have a devious ability which will debuff enemies and do speech damage. Then they have a friendly ability which won't do much damage, but it can buff allies, it can heal allies, and it can resolve the encounter in a friendly way. Then they also have their unique abilities, which is unique to each character. So if I want to be devious about this, I want to try and... you see, there's the mood. Now, this is a complicated thing which definitely changes the outcome of the battle, but first I'll be devious to... In fact, I want to move the character first. I will move her over here, just to free up area for these guys to attack. And then, in fact, I can flank and shank this guy, can't I? Alright, so I'm going to start by being aggressive. I'm going to stab this guy in the back, because that does a lot of damage. And then that guy is now dead. Straightforward. But now, because I've hit someone, it's changed the mood of this encounter, and the mood of this encounter is now escalated. So that means every character in my crew has less speech defense. Speech is like the second and third skills, whereas that is a physical attack skill. So now, because the mood is escalated, the enemy has a higher chance to do speech damage on me. I am gonna shuffle around here, and I will terrify this guy. It should kill him, because these guys are just weak, and you can't... The only way to get rid of enemies isn't by attacking them. If you like talk them out of an encounter to pacify them, or you terrify them, they will run away. So I can move over here to get away from these guys, and then I can use Sadden. Like, each ability has different range and different skills. Like, that one has 100% speech, and my speech is 35, whereas that is 100% attack, and my attack is 22, and you can change those stats by leveling up characters or by buying them equipment. And overall, you should be starting to see how in-depth this is. Like, there are a lot of different stats, the way you can manipulate the mood by doing different abilities, the different equipment, the way you can build your characters, and even the loadout characters you use. There's a lot of tactical depth to this game, and it does very much make it feel like an actual RPG, which is great. I am worried about this encounter though, because I'm not going to use her special ability because it heals her, and that's not necessary yet. I want to try and kill this purple guy, because purple ones seem like they are slightly stronger. And the best thing about using these threaten abilities is I'm out of range with her, so I'm going to have to go around and kill this person. They debuff the enemies too, so if they're in a negative mood and use a debuff ability, then they will get debuffed. Like, that will terrify him, which means he'll take more physical damage. I mean, I think they do less physical damage if you terrify them. Now, oh no, she's stunned, so she can't actually do anything. So I'm just going to have to end this turn. And I've just realised something. The win condition for this encounter isn't actually beat all the enemies, I just need to defeat the alchemist. So can I assume that the purple person is the alchemist? Ooh, okay, she's getting really low on health, and these guys are coming in now, so I might lose her. But, alright, let's use this ability now, because it will heal me, and in fact, no, I should do this one, because it will fully kill the purple person. So, I will insult her, and that will summon her, and she'll just want to be alone, and she'll run away, and that was the alchemist, so I won that encounter. And I did solve it through devious means, so I got the campaign tokens and the encounter tokens, and because I resolved it deviously, my party is acting a certain way. So now I can explore the ruins properly. I find the alchemy lab, and Molly feels slightly uneasy here, so I can either shoot her down and study it, or I can say that she's right and get some campaign rewards. But either one will get me a secret, so it's basically whether I want campaign or study. I would rather get study bonus to get more research. So I found the alchemy lab. There are loads of weird things in there, but only one treasure stands out, so I can take the treasure, and that will roll a chance for 2 certain treasures. And I'm going to get the Secretum Secretorum, great name, which will give me 150 renown, again the resource you need to win the game, and some insight, which I can spend in the city. So I can choose a bonus I want from it, and you get loads of different bonuses. I usually just go for recommended, seeing as I'm still not too experienced with this game. I'm not that good at it, so I generally just go for the recommended option. But there you go. I got all those tokens in the expedition. I got a couple of achievements, and this will be the summary screen where I'll show me all the things I've got. So the treasures, all the tokens. So this will count in all status, gold, research, and renown I've got from the tokens. And overall, this was a pretty good haul. But this was just one expedition out of many. And there are a lot of expeditions in this game. This is the little newspaper. You can see all the other explorers I'm competing against to get the most renown, and it will have a little message about your group. And you also get a report which you can send to open a new city to go to. So that'll give me an entourage hall, that'll give me an equipment shop, and that will unlock some new jobs where I can spend my insight. I'd like a new equipment shop instantly. So there we go, that's got a new equipment shop which I can go to and buy items which I can upgrade my characters with. So if this game looks interesting to you, then I will have a link to it in the description below, and I do recommend it. It's got so much to it. It's a game I can see people putting loads of hours into. But yeah, let me know what you think, and until next time, this is me, Evans with Z111 rather. Please rating it if you enjoyed the video, and this is me out.